There's almost nobody who's dismantling the illusion. I want to know how it's an illusion, why it's an illusion. Nobody's dismantling that. Nobody's telling you how the ego is false. How is it unreal? Can you logically explain it to me? I have been told many times that I am already free, and I don't know what to do with that. Doesn't make sense to me. Learn to ask the right questions. As a seeker, your question should be, how do you know it cannot be known? Teach me why it cannot be known. And if I know why it cannot be known, then I know that which cannot be known. There is a logical way of teaching it. It cannot be known that teaching is true, but it's also true that you will only know that teaching when you know why it cannot be known. The one who says it cannot be understood understands that. That's what you need to learn. That's what you need to ask. If you're on the path and you're still at that stage whereby these kind of statements are not making sense to the mind, the only way to understand non-duality is to understand duality. The only way to understand that which is not a thing is to understand what a thing is. Your mind will keep asking questions until it gets closure. That's why I said you cannot understand what no thing is, but you can understand what a thing is. And what's left is nothing. You cannot understand non-duality, but you can understand duality. The mind wants to understand everything. If your mind understood everything, it would have no question. And such a mind would come at rest. That's what the teaching is all about. Direct experience dissolves the questioner. Okay, you've been told that you are already free. So why does it feel like the most unhelpful thing that anyone has ever said to you? That is the question. And like always, let's have a look at what the question or the questioner is asking literally, using the words that they have used. Let's answer it logically, rationally, reasonably, without having to believe anything. And then finally, we experience the answer directly here, so that you're left with a complete teaching. The question, the logical answer, and then you can experience the answer finally. You don't need to go and watch more videos of this. This would be a complete teaching in itself. So let's take a look. So the questioner says, you've been told that you're already free. And this comes from a seeker who's been on the internet or has met some non-dual teachers and guides and masters who have pointed them to this teaching, which is you are already free. And it feels like the most unhelpful thing that anyone would have said to them. And it's true. It's true. If you go on the internet and listen to a lot of the teachings that are there right now, a lot of them point you directly to the truth. But that's not what the seeker is seeking here. The seeker is seeking answers. And if you don't give answers, if you give dead-end answers, where I cannot question anything anymore, then the seeker feels that it's not making sense. And absolutely, correctly, it's not making sense. So either you don't know, or I have to just simply believe what you are saying. You see what happens? There are two kinds of on the non-duality path, Advaita Vedanta, or oneness, or the absolute truth, self-realization. There are two kinds of people. One who have realized their true self. They realized I am awareness. And they dismiss the intellectual part of it, the logical part of it, because it seems unnecessary. And then there are the second kind of people who have understood it intellectually, but they are not living it experientially. It's very easy to spot which one is which. And very rarely you'll find somebody who's intellectually complete in their teaching and is living it experientially. Somebody who can dismantle every single word that you ask. And that's the reason, that's the only reason this guy here sitting is doing these videos. Otherwise, there are so many other teachers online and good ones who point you to awareness, point you to your real true self. very easily, and that's brilliant. But there's almost nobody who's dismantling the illusion. When you're told the entire universe is an illusion, I want to know how it's an illusion, why it's an illusion. Nobody's dismantling that. Nobody's telling you how the ego is false. How is it unreal? Can you logically explain it to me? So these are the kind of questions, and that's the only reason that this guy is making these videos. If we had more people who are dismantling all the illusion and the ego and all the words that are used, then there would be no point of me making this kind of videos. You already have so many of them, and really good ones. Anyway, let's get back. So, why does it feel like the most unhelpful thing that anyone has ever said to you? Let me give you the phrases that you'll find many of these teachings that give you dead ends. This is it already. You are it already. There's nothing to do. The seeker is the sought. You are looking for what you already are. Stop the search. You'll never find it. It cannot be known. It cannot be understood. It can't be seen. It's all within awareness. This is it already, and not even. Go on to the non-dual groups on Facebook. Spiritual entertainment. Beautiful. You are it already, and not even. This is it. Like the questioner says, I have been told many times that I am already free. And I don't know what to do with that. Doesn't make sense to me. So as a seeker, if you're at this point, learn to ask the right questions as well. So it cannot be known. If I told you it cannot be known, but I know that. It can't be understood, but I understand that. It can't be seen, but I see that. So as a seeker, your question should be, how do you know it cannot be known? Teach me why it cannot be known. And if I know why it cannot be known, then I know that which cannot be known. If I understand why it cannot be understood, then I have understood that which cannot be understood. Or if I understand why it cannot be seen, then I see that which cannot be seen. And like I said, the only reason is that a lot of teachers or masters online will dismiss it. It can't be known. Stop. Why are you even trying? You can't understand it. And yet, as a seeker, your mind says, I'm not getting closure. There is a problem. I need a solution. I need to close this. But that's not the teaching of the ancient scriptures. If you go through all the scriptures that have been there for centuries now, they have these same teachings. There is a logical way of teaching it. It cannot be known that teaching is true. But it's also true that you will only know that teaching when you know why it cannot be known. It's also true that it cannot be understood, it cannot be seen. But it's also true that the one who says it cannot be seen sees that. The one who says it cannot be understood understands that. That's what you need to learn. That's what you need to ask if you're on the path and you're still at that stage whereby these kind of statements are not making sense to the mind, because the mind has a question and an answer such as, this is it, that's it already, does not give the mind closure. That question will persist. I'm glad this question came up because this is what I tackle with. This is what I do. The only reason. There are many teachers who will tell you you're already free. This is it already. You are awareness. You are consciousness. You don't need to do anything. Everything is within awareness. Many teachers. I would not. That's the reason I'm not really teaching you that you are already aware. I'm teaching you why you are not a thing. The statement I use here is, you know that you are awareness. Great, absolutely brilliant, awesome. You know that you are not a thing. Now let's understand what a thing is. When it comes to understanding, when it comes to knowing, using the words, the direct meaning of the words, finding the assumptions becomes so important. You'll find every teaching or every word used to point to the absolute is a negation, non-dual. So it's non-dual. You can't understand what non-duality is. The only way to understand non-duality is to understand duality. The only way to understand that which is not a thing is to understand what a thing is. That's why words such as nameless, it has no name, so it's nameless. It has no form, so it's formless. It is not aware, it is awareness. It is not conscious, it is consciousness. It's not even nothing, it's nothingness. So logically, and Advaita Vedanta, I've been through many different cultures, traditions, and teachings. Advaita Vedanta, nothing comes close to Advaita Vedanta when it comes to dismantling the illusion, word by word. You can say the word the, and they will answer just that word. You can pick up A, and they'll answer A. And that's another reason why you'll find so many teachings are lost in translation as well. So let's get back. You've been told that you are free already. Why does it feel like the most unhelpful thing that anyone has ever said to me? It's because the assumption that you have is, I have been told I am free, so I should be free. Why is it unhelpful? Because I don't feel free. That's why I'm asking in the first place. I'm seeking freedom. I'm looking for the truth. And you tell me I'm already free. But I'm not free. You see, what the person giving this teaching may be free. He's realized that. But I have not realized that. And until you don't step into my shoes and see it from my point of view, if I am not free, then I am bound. So your guide or your teacher or whichever teaching you're learning has to step into these shoes and see, why are you bound? What is making you feel bound? What is making you feel like this limited person? What is it? And let's work with that. Just telling me I'm free will not free it. Because I feel it, I need to unfeel it. If I know I'm not free, I need to unknow that I'm not free. That's the only way. That's why I said non-dual can only be with the word dual. Otherwise, the absolute truth has no word. It can only be negated. It's not this, not this. Neti neti. Anything you say, no. I think that's enough teaching for this. So let's see. Let me see if I've just answered the question completely. You have been told you are already free. So there are many of these teachings. You are awareness, you are the witness, stay as the witness. It's already this. Everything arises within awareness. You know all the teachings. You have been through it. So this is just one of them. I've been told I'm already free, but it feels like the most unhelpful teaching that anyone has ever given me. It's unhelpful because the mind seeks closure. The brain is designed to solve problems. The brain is designed, or the mind is designed to keep this person alive. Survival mode. That's what this person is in. So it's always on the lookout for problems, anything that would harm it, and if there's any problem, to solve it immediately. Right? So here's the seeker's problem, that I feel bound. I don't feel free. I want to know the truth. That's the mind. That's the brain. The only way it will stop is when it gets the answer. If there's a math problem that you're trying to solve, and you're a mathematician or a scientist, your mind will keep persisting until you find the solution to that. And that's the same teaching here in the non-duality space. Your mind will keep asking questions until it gets closure. That's why I said you cannot understand what no thing is, but you can understand what a thing is. And what's left is nothing. You cannot understand non-duality, but you can understand duality. And that's where the mind comes in. The mind wants to understand everything. It wants to understand everything. If your mind understood everything, it would have no question. And such a mind would come at rest. That's what the teaching is all about. So, why does it feel like the most unhelpful thing? Because if I answered one question, you'll have another question. Questions and answers will not end. We can debate on and on. Direct experience dissolves the questioner. So, pointings like this, that you are already free, and you realize that, what will somebody who's realized that do? They will dismiss everything that the mind says in the same way. So I already know I am awareness. So if anybody asked me, I would tell them, hang on, whatever you're saying, watch, witness, it's all arising in awareness and subsiding. You as awareness are still free. That is the teaching, that is the pointing, that's absolutely true. But then here's the question, what is arising and what is subsiding? And why is it doing it in the first place? And not only that, that awareness is arising. It's not arising in awareness. It's awareness that's arising, yet not moving. That is the intellectual part of it. So, why does it feel like the most unhelpful thing that anyone said? Because the mind is not getting closure. Now, let's wind this teaching with direct experience. Let's take a look. See, again, all the intellectual knowledge is just for clarity of the mind. It has nothing to do with awareness. Doubts, confusion, questions, all, not only that, answers, clarity, solutions, all belong to the mind, not to awareness. All your questions arise in the mind. All your solutions will arise in the mind. So everything that I've just said right now, when we come to direct experience, it's all rubbish. Because it makes no sense. It's not helpful or useful at all. Because all this time, what I have been trying to point to is this silence. And no matter how many words I would have said, it's not silence. So let's just silence the mind now. Bring down all that vibration energy that I've just put into all this talk. Forget about all of it. Just calm the mind down. And you can keep your eyes open. Rest as awareness, abide as consciousness, awareness that you already know that you are. Now you know that awareness does not move. Everything moves within awareness. You may have thoughts popping up. You know that they arise within awareness, subside back into awareness. There may be things happening around you right now. They too are arising within the awareness. This awareness, does it need freedom? No. Why? It was never bound. Can it be bound in any way? No. That which cannot be bound, is there any question of it attaining freedom? No. Like we spoke in the last video, that which is not born cannot die. Only that which takes birth can die. Only that which is bound can attain freedom. So, is awareness free? No, doesn't apply. So, awareness is what it is. Then why the bondage and freedom? Seeking, looking for, or trying to understand, or trying to achieve. Now, from this point of view of awareness, all those teachings make sense. I am already free as awareness. I can never be bound as awareness. But why does it feel like the most unhelpful thing? Because the mind does not know what to do with awareness. It does not know what to do for awareness. It does not know what to do to awareness. Awareness is the most useless, not most, absolute useless for the mind. I was going to say absolutely useless thing. It is not a thing. To the mind, awareness and consciousness is absolutely useless. So like in Vedanta, they say everything has a name, a form, a use, appears within time and space. Awareness is nameless, formless, useless. Not within time, not within space. So the mind does not know what to do with awareness. And thus, the seeking carries on. The seeker feels that a question has not been answered. A solution has not been provided. The thorn that pricked the foot is still there. The doubt and confusion is still there. What will end it? The second thorn that will be used to prick out the first thorn and throw both of them away. Only then will the mind be at ease. Every question of the questioner, of the seeker, needs an answer. If it does not get an answer, the question will persist, maybe in different ways. I want you to also directly experience that these questions and answers do nothing to awareness as it is. Awareness remains untouched. Duality, non-duality belong to the mind. Words such as awareness, consciousness, existence, all these words belong to the mind. Every word belongs to the mind. The seeker's questions belong to the mind. Awareness is not the answer to those questions. The answer to those questions will also arise in the mind. That's why they say ignorance. You are ignorant of what you truly are. That means you don't know what you truly are. You don't have the knowledge of what you truly are. And that is not new knowledge that you need. You need to realize what you have taken yourself to be and pick out that, because that is not true. What you are, what you have been, what you will always be, has always been. It's absolutely unaffected. You have taken yourself to be something else. That needs to be examined. When that is seen through, everything remains as it is. Advaita Vedanta is called the path of knowledge, Jnana Yoga. The path of no belief, no faith, and no action. Mental clarity, knowledge that should answer every question. Logically, reasonably, without me having to believe I am already free. When you go to school or you send your children to school, you want the student to understand what the teacher is saying, not to believe what the teacher is saying. Even the teacher wants the student to understand, not to believe them blindly. If the teacher said, "You are already free," The teacher wants you to understand that, not believe that you are already free. And they should be willing to teach you how you are already free, how this is it already. That's what Jnana Yoga does. That's what Advaita Vedanta does. Questions arise in the mind, answers will arise in the mind. They negate each other, and awareness remains as it is. Not everybody needs these answers. But the sincere seeker who says, I need to understand, I need to know, I want to understand it. Please make it as simple as 2 plus 2 is 4. I understand that. For that seeker, statements like, you are already free, this is it already, are absolutely unhelpful. I was one of those seekers. Where I needed to understand, what are the masters talking about? Why are they saying what they're saying? And I found that nobody is teaching that. Nobody is answering questions to why there is an illusion in the first place. Why the ego is called false, unreal, imaginary. Why? Can you explain it to me just logically? Is that too much to ask? The questioner is at that stage where he hears, your awareness, this is it already. There's nothing to do. Stop the search. It's just another story. My question is, why is there a story? If I understand why there's a story in the first place, then I understand that which is not a story. As a seeker of the truth, do not settle for teachings that do not complete you emotionally, mentally, and physically. That would be a complete teaching, where I feel the truth, I know the truth, I do the truth, I am the truth. There is nothing else apart from I. Living it experientially, emotionally, intellectually, and physically. That's a complete teaching and a complete arc. If you knew the truth but don't feel it, something's amiss. I know something, I don't feel it. Or if you felt it and you don't know it, something is still amiss. I feel it, but I don't know it. If I'm still trying to find consciousness, awareness with thoughts, it will not work. If I'm still trying to find water with the wave, it will not work. But the wave appears, the thought appears, the words appear, they arise. The questions are in the words. The answers are also in the words. And there must be a logical answer to that as well. We'll not get into that. Teachings and learnings have to be a two-way. Question and answer, teacher and student. It cannot be just in one way, one direction. What the teacher says, the student believes and follows blindly. That's not teaching. I tell you, you're already free. You are expected to believe me. That's not teaching. Teaching is, I tell you you're free and you tell me, but I don't feel it. I don't know it. And that's where the questions and answers start. It will not change the answer or the fact that you already are. There's a mistaken identity. There's a mistaken bondage, which will lead to freedom, which is also realized to be imaginary. I write in one of my books in the I Am Consciousness series, where after learning everything, the questioner asks Vedanta. Now, somebody is asking Vedanta itself. So, Vedanta, if everything is an illusion, what are you? What are the teachings? If everything in the world is an illusion, you as the teaching, you as the scripture, you as the books, you as the master, you as the teacher, you as the guru, what are you? If everything is an illusion. And Vedanta answers back and says, I too am a part of the illusion. But do not make the mistake of dismissing me until you have realized the truth. So ask, as a genuine, sincere seeker that you are, ask questions until you get your answer. And ask, ask, ask. Everything is made of something. Ask until you come down to the point of asking, what is a thing? And if I know a thing, how do I know everything? Why? So these teachings feel unhelpful because the mind has nothing to do with these teachings. They are dead ends. This is it already. So the seeker asks, so what do I do? Everything arises in awareness, and the mind says, there's nothing left for me to do. I don't understand. I can witness it all along, but the mind still says, after some time, now it's becoming a waste of time. You know your awareness, let's get back to work now. That was a good experience, but this is reality in front of you. Until you don't dismantle the mechanics of the illusion, questions will arise. doubts, confusion will arise. Very few seekers will go to the end of knowledge. And if you're one of those, welcome to this channel, because that's what I do. That's what this thing here sitting does. We'll leave it at that.